Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, and I'll be your host today. James has a development meeting with our developers for our StockCast platform. So, good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. A couple things are going on in the marketplace, but I'll tell you, last night we had some storms roll through, and we lost our power. Lost our power for 9 hours plus, and you just don't realize how simple our lives are when everything is going perfectly perfect. And then you lose power and you lose air conditioning, you lose the ability to cook, be able to just walk downstairs. You're like, oh, wait, I need a flashlight. Where's the flashlight? Just little things. And you go from air conditioning home to sweaty sweat box. So get the power back on, get the generator up. That was the first thing I had to do. Got the generator out, got it plugged in, got it set up, got that cooking, got the house back online. And it's just weird because we don't have streetlights in our neighborhood. And so you're the only house that's kind of glowing, and the others you're all pitch black dark. So, but anyway, so storms here in Michigan. Here's what's going on in the marketplace today. SPY is up $1.58. The futures are plus $1.10, 110. So a little bounce in the marketplace today. A little bounce in the market from yesterday. Let's take a look at the chart real quick. And you can see here that this is the daily here. Yesterday we thought it was going to go sideways, and it did. It literally traded in a, let me look here. I think it was like a 4.5, 4.5 channel yesterday. Yeah, the high was 415. No, that's not right. That included the pre-market there. The intraday market was about 4.5 points. So it really traded sideways. And looks like today we might get a little bounce. And then we'll see what it does. I still think we're going to crack under 400 and test that 390 and eventually test 380. And I've even seen some reports, some analysts with little TNA technical analysis that they are calling for 330. And James believes that too. And then I saw another report this morning that they're calling 2023 being the worst recession of all time. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out and how that all works. But I'm out of my SPY trade. I'm just watching SPY now for other indications of the market. I use SPY in conjunction when I trade Tesla. And I traded Tesla again for the first time since the split yesterday. And instead of getting 4, 5, 6 point swings, really now, because of the price point, I'm looking for $1, $1.50, $2 is a big move now compared to what was happening before. So change my strategy a little bit, a little bigger size and less movement, and taking the win there. All right. So a couple things that are popping in the news that intrigue me. One is that yesterday Netflix came out and said, or there was a report from Bloomberg that Netflix was going to start to offer a $7 to $9 monthly streaming service that had ads on it, basically reducing their monthly rate under 20. From right now, you can get Netflix for under $20 a month. And the stock took a dip. Then Netflix came out today and said, oopsie, that's not true, not accurate. And I just found that interesting that clearly, in my opinion, I think that they were floating the idea. And when the market responded negatively to it, that they quickly reversed their position and said, no, that's we're just talking about it kind of openly. But it's just crazy how they can run an idea, test an idea like that, and watch how the market responds, and then they can change their strategies into what they're doing. So that's just an interesting thought. Another piece of news is two things. One is that Elon Musk has come out and said again, he's detailed in a report to the SEC why he's pulling out from the Twitter buy, why he's backing out, and now he's using the whistleblower complaint as a big part of his reason why. And obviously, I mean, we've always said, or actually James and I have talked about on the show, and we believe that we think that there are more bots in Twitter and in Facebook and these social media platforms than we realize. And it's just crazy. So I think Elon will eventually buy Twitter, but he won't be paying $44 billion for it. I think he'll be paying a lot less for it. So it'll be interesting to watch how this one plays out. Other news, ticker that's on my radar today is Bed Bath & Beyond. I'll pull that for you. Bed Bath & Beyond has been doing some crazy runs and surges, and Ryan Cohen, investor, has been a big play of it. Tomorrow there's a conference call, and yesterday you can see right here, pretty good push up here. What did it top out at? 1488. I'm actually looking for Bed Bath & Beyond to make a little jump this morning, and right now it's trading at 1464. And for me, it's going to be a strong short candidate. And it used to be 2 weeks ago, Bed Bath & Beyond was locates readily available, no charge, and then it basically has become a meme stock, and now it's they charge a small fee for it. So, but I will be looking for a possible short play here of Bed Bath & Beyond, especially if we can get a parabolic spike in the morning and run up to 16 is kind of the number I'm looking at. Maybe high 15s. Maybe I'll take a small starter spot, but I think 16 in that range will be worth taking making that a play for a short play. We'll see how this one plays out. So a little bit of what I'm watching for on the market today. The other ticker I'm watching is SPPI. It's a ticker I've been involved in for a couple weeks, and I'm looking for some news. They have a September 9th, they have an FDA report coming out that's allegedly supposed to be very positive, and they're looking for FDA approval shortly after that. So that's a ticker that I've got some shares that I'm into. All right, let's go into the comments. Good morning, S. John. Thank you for all the news you share. I really do appreciate that. It's funny because I don't know what news service you pull that from, but I always do. After I look at my news, I scan through there, and sometimes you have some things that are just interesting, that are different. The Arizona governor is going to visit Taiwan. All right. Good morning, Kim. Yeah, Fed's Barkin's interest rates will need to be restrictive. That's interesting. Like, what does that mean? Like, we can guess what that means, but what does that really mean? That'll be interesting to see how this next Fed interest rate FOMC announcement comes along. Mr. David, I was looking at ticker MGAM. Let me pull it up. Let me pull that one up. That was on my radar watching it. I'll tell you what. So it looks like it's recently IPO'd. But let me pull up here and do this. Put it in 5 minutes. So it spiked here from low 30s, 330-ish, and ran up here in this core 407, and it stayed there, and it's traded sideways. So it's done a couple crazy dips. I'm not sure what was going on when it did those crazy dips, but I'm going to watch this a little bit too, because if this trades sideways enough, and it's not readily a short, I don't even know if there's any shorts available. I haven't looked on that, but kind of casually going to be watching this one, because this one might do something, take off, because it's trading. It looks like a little bit of a bull flag here going on. So appreciate that. Handsome face. You must be looking in the mirror, S. John. You must be looking in the mirror, brother. Tony, it's true. It's true. I've lost some weight this summer. I have a tent business. We do tent rentals, and I've been out there setting them up and taking them down, and it's hard to find help. You say yes to a customer, and you have to still deliver. Michael, you have a generator. Tell you what, we had a generator uh, from a winter freeze here years ago, and it was just nice that last night I hadn't run it in, I don't remember the last time, and it started right up and was able to get things plugged in and get back going. And you're right, and then that I'm thinking, man, I'm glad my neighbors aren't running a generator with my windows open. But we lived a little nicer last night. Um, rolling blackouts. Talking about the futures. Good morning. Yeah, Robert, this is something we're waiting for. Talked about it, the completion of the lab. So, and we mentioned yesterday in the show that Christine Jenkins has got her contracts coming up. So I'd be curious to see what's going on with her contract and what's going to happen there. But definitely we are watching that. All right. Not much else going on here. So that's what I'm watching for in my small cap world, and watching how SPY plays out. Are there any tickers that you're watching? Anything that's on your radar that you're excited about? That you are trying to keep an eye on? Are you looking to go long, looking to go short? I think there's quite a few of you that on the show, because I see the comments, that trade options. And so I think sometimes you guys get in a situation where you can only trade certain tickers because they have options or don't have options. Or do you trade options because that's what James puts out in his alerts, like he's trading options? I've always been curious about that because I rarely trade an option. If he sends out an option alert, I will take a share position, and I realize that some of my profits are a little bit smaller or a little bit lower, but I don't run into I'm worried about the time issue or the expiration date issue. That's how my SPY trade turned out for me. I had shares and I was willing to sit on them, and this past week, last Friday, I was able to I didn't lose on the trade. It's probably the best way to say it. I didn't lose on the trade because I think my average was 407.05, and then I closed at 406, high 406 something, and so I didn't really didn't lose on the trade. It's probably the best way, and that's one of your rules in trading is stay alive, keep alive for the next day. All right, so quite a couple of guys mentioning shares there. You're in FTCH. Take a look at that. It's, and you're bearish on it, so you're going short. Pull this up. Look at the daily on it. What's your average price? There's a high of 1289. Well, this reminds me of some of my old girlfriends in high school. Ugly. This is an ugly, ugly chart. I'm not even sure what they do. Yeah, put contract. All right. So you're probably okay. Probably okay. It's got a little bounce in the pre-market this morning, up 2%. It's popped up on my scanner before. I don't think I've ever traded FTCH. Farfetch Limited. All right. We are about 13 and a half minutes to the start of the market. Any other questions? I know something that's been asked about StockCast and announcing and releasing of our social media platform. I think the goal was to get through the end of third quarter. And I know there's been some great progress, but there's just been a couple of hiccups along the way. And then there's been a couple of ideas like, oh, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. And it just, to put it in the best words, is that sometimes in this process, you're in tugboat mode versus speedboat mode. And I know we think in speedboat mode, but really you've got to let certain things play out and let things develop. And so I know there's been some progress. I'm not completely convinced it's going to be released by the end of September, but I know that I'm more confident today about it than I was 3 months ago because we just had so many hurdles to get through. So it's coming along. It's definitely coming along. Michael, have a great day. It was nice to see you there. Thank you. And then, did you guys see the news about us live streaming? Did anyone see the news about us going live streaming? That's something that we've been talking about because basically the people on our YouTube show and we've talked about, there's been many times we wanted to talk about a ticker and we haven't because it's an alert that our paid members have. So we've talked about going to doing actually adding a live stream, and we're actually debating it, whether we do it daily, whether we do it a couple times a week, whether we do it for a half hour, do it for a couple hours. My thoughts has always been, talking about this with James, is that even if we're just live streaming the first half hour, 45 minutes, because most of my trades are taking place during that time, and we get an idea what's going on at the market. Like sometimes we'll say, hey, small cap world, there's not a whole lot going on. Then at 9:37, there's like 2 runners, and being able to see them and talk about them as they're happening, and letting you see kind of a game time decision how we respond to that, how we either get in the trade or we don't get in the trade, or the whys. There could be some value in that. I know that's one of the ways I've learned how to trade when I first started with James, is that I would get his idea of what he was trading, why he was trading it, and then I would try to reverse engineer it and try to have a better understanding of it. And that's one of the ways that worked for me, is being a visual learner, is able to see the trade and then go back and say, okay, why do we do this here? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's a pattern that's starting to be recognizable or repeat itself. So I will put that in my workbook for future trades. So let's bring it back. Yeah, much more focus. To be fair, I'll be real straightforward here. It's a lot harder on us. It is challenging, more challenging. So one of the biggest things, I'll just share this insight, is when we do it live trading, the number one question we'll get asked is, how many shares are you trading? Well, what I'm trading, how many shares I'm trading, is irrelevant to how many shares you're trading, because I might be trading. I'll give some real life examples. We used to work with a company where we trade CFDs and make money that way. And James was trading an account that had a trading power of $600,000, and then the entry account was, I want to say, like 80,000. Like you could buy a smaller account and you'd have buying power of about $80,000. Well, people were trying to, and they did, and they quite honestly did, they would mimic, or they would follow his trades on what he was, when his entry buy for 600,000, and it would be all in. Well, then the trade would go against them and their account would blow up. And the way the CFDs works is that if you drop below a certain dollar volume, you basically close your account and you had to buy another one. And it was a challenge. And it was so frustrating. Like, why would they think that you could buy 1,000 shares of something when I have a $600,000 account and I could scale into it? So that's the one thing we've debated over and over and over about. How do we train or teach, mentor our members or people who are watching us and listening to us? And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to say, this is a unit purchase for me. So if my unit is 500 shares, or $5,000 or $10,000 entry price, you get to decide what your unit is based on your size of your account. And so if this is my first unit, and the idea is that I can scale into a total of 10 units, then I'm only taking 10% of my buying power that I'm working with, or whatever my designation is, whatever my goals and that I have worked out, then you could buy that. There's been some trades I enter a starter position like 25% of one unit. Yeah, it's like for example, Bed Bath & Beyond today I talked about. I wanted to get up to 16. I probably won't. My first entry won't be a full unit, but I may within 15 minutes be into a full unit. But I may take a starter position at less than a full unit just to get a feel for it, make sure that it's in the right spot. There are times that I'll take a small position of a unit, and the trade works out perfectly immediately. Small win, move on. Small win, move on. And it's what it is. So just we'll talk more about that when we do some live trading. Okay. Yes, we are about 7.5 minutes to the start of the market. Yeah, Jeff, that's a good rule of thumb. Good rule of thumb. 10% of your account per size trade with a 10% stop. I'm at 10%. And again, there's no bad rules. It's really what the rules that you have and you want to live by, and you work through. So it is what it is. All right, we are right now just under 7 minutes, and Randy, I see that phase is running. I'm going to take a look at that in a moment. And I want to wish you guys all a good day, good trading. Be careful. Going back to SPYs, still up about $1. Futures are still up about 79 points, so it's come back a little bit. I think we're going to end up green today, but not by much. I think it'll be. We could even go green, red, back to green today. Could be another day of chop, but I think it'll be a little more positive chop than yesterday. So until the next show, until next time, take care, and I will see you guys on the next one.